Here's a rewritten and improved version of your first section, keeping the language simple and engaging. The Kansas City Chiefs narrowly defeated the struggling Carolina Panthers, winning by just 3 points. It took a game-winning drive led by Patrick Mahomes and his teammates to secure the victory. This close call has led many fans to question the Chiefs' strength, suggesting they should have easily beaten a team with a 3-8 record. While the tight win raises some concerns, it's important to remember that winning in the NFL is tough week after week, and the Chiefs have proven they can do it better than anyone else. Let's dive into the recap of the game against the Panthers, where I'll share my biggest concerns, a bit of optimism, and some key takeaways. But first, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Fabletics. More on them later. Now, this matchup against the Panthers looked like an easy win on paper, but that's not how it unfolded. Several players had rough performances, and Nate Taylor from The Athletic reported that the team seemed downcast after the game. Even though they won, many Chiefs defenders left the locker room with their heads down. Mahomes, usually chatty and upbeat, was quieter than normal, and the offensive coordinator, Joe Blam, was seen shaking his head in frustration when he made eye contact with reporters. So what went wrong? Why did a 3-point victory feel more like a loss for so many? Let's break it down as we recap the game and highlight some key takeaways. In the first half, the Panthers won the toss and chose to defer. The game kicked off with an impressive return from running back S.J. Perrine, who nearly scored, bringing the ball all the way to the Panthers' 41-yard line. After a couple of solid runs from Kareem Hunt, the Chiefs faced a third down. That's when Noah Gray found himself wide open, catching a 35-yard touchdown pass. Clearly, there was a breakdown in the Panthers' coverage, but we'll gladly take the points. The Chiefs quickly struck first, but then it was Bryce Young and the Panthers' turn to respond. Young connected with veteran David Moore for a 15-yard gain on a crucial third down. On the very next play, he hit rookie Xavier Legette for a stunning 34-yard catch, with Justin Reed trailing behind in coverage. At that moment, I thought, uh-oh, this could be a career game for Bryce Young, reminiscent of Zach Wilson's breakout performance against the Chiefs last year. This feeling came partly from the Chiefs' secondary, struggling with coverage, and the defensive line not being able to pressure Young effectively. He had so much time in the pocket, it was like he was roasting marshmallows back there. The Panthers moved the ball inside the 10-yard line, but faced a setback with a false start. On the next play, a pass sailed over Adam Thielen's head, forcing Carolina to settle for a field goal, making the score 7-3, with the Chiefs still in the lead. The Chiefs responded with some solid plays, as Hunt and DeAndre Hopkins both made key catches for first downs. Then Travis Kelce made a spectacular 19-yard catch, showcasing his ability to gain yards after the catch, something we don't see from him as often these days. That play also allowed Kelce to surpass the legendary Antonio Gates for the third most receiving yards by a tight end in NFL history, finishing the day with 11,897 yards compared to Gates' 11,841. If Travis Kelce wants to surpass Jason Witten's record, he's going to need a lot of yards. Honestly, it seems nearly impossible for anyone to reach the 15,120 yards set by Tony Gonzalez during his career. Still, these stats highlight just how great Travis Kelce really is. Back to the game, Kareem Hunt continued to push the Chiefs forward, converting a crucial 3rd and 1 and bringing them inside the 10-yard line. However, Carolina's defense stood strong on 3rd down, leaving Mahomes with no open options. This set up a 25-yard field goal attempt for Spencer Schraer, who was one of the unsung heroes of the day. Now, with the holidays just around the corner, if you're looking for cozy outfits, festive accessories, or comfortable sweats like the straight-leg sweats I'm wearing right now, look no further than our sponsor, Fabletics. They offer a wide range of high-quality clothing that you can customize to fit your style, all delivered right to your door. I've picked up several pieces from them, including jogger pants that are super comfy and a stylish essential puffer vest that makes me feel way cooler than I actually am. I also got some great shorts with zipper pockets that will be my new go-tos, along with some quality boxers and socks, though I won't be showing those on camera. Fabletics has plenty of accessories too, like hats and backpacks. Plus, you can save even more by signing up as a VIP member. This gives you an amazing intro offer of 80% off the entire site, including jackets. The monthly membership also provides 1 credit for a 2-piece outfit or any product up to $100, along with up to 50% off retail prices. You'll get access to VIP exclusive sales, early access to new drops, and free workouts through the Fabletics Fit app. The best part? The membership is flexible, allowing you to skip any month between the 1st and 5th without being charged. So check out fabletics.com/HBTC to snag $24 onesies if that's your style, plus 80% off when you sign up as a VIP. Now back to the game. After a couple of impressive scrambles by Bryce Young, he found the savvy veteran Adam Thielen wide open on a well-designed play, and Thielen turned upfield for a big 36-yard gain. This was the second drive where the Panthers easily moved into the red zone, aided by a 12-yard jet sweep from Tompkins. Thankfully, the Chiefs' defense managed to hold them to another field goal. George Karlaftis nearly got to Young on first down, but Chuba Hubbard dropped a pass on second, and Young overthrew his target on third down. This allowed the Panthers kicker, Pino, to score again, making it 10-6 with the Chiefs still ahead. A rare drop by Justin Watson set up a challenging 3rd and 5, but Mahomes showed his skills by pump faking and then scrambling up the middle for a valuable 9-yard gain and a first down. On the next play, Travis Kelce caught a crossing route for 27 yards, and then rookie Rashee Rice made a nice 6-yard catch on another third down to keep the chains moving. An interesting moment came when Mecole Hardman lined up in the Wildcat formation. He had the option to hand off the ball, but instead he kept it and ran up the middle for 9 yards. Mecole was surprisingly impactful in this game, even with just 2 carries for 15 yards, as he broke through some tackles. However, one thing that was frustrating was the number of penalties the Chiefs' offense collected. A holding call on Joe Thuney pushed them back 10 yards, and on 3rd and 11, a defensive holding penalty gave the Chiefs a first down. But more flags followed. Trey Smith was hit with a false start, and a blown-up screenplay added to the confusion. The Chiefs faced a tough 2nd and 18 situation after Juju Smith-Schuster was flagged for holding. Ultimately, they had to settle for a 41-yard field goal after Mahomes was sacked, bringing the score to 13-6, with the Chiefs leading by 7. However, the penalties were piling up, and they didn't stop there. With Bryce Young and the Panthers trailing by 7, disaster struck for them when Mike Dana burst through on 2nd and 7, forcing a fumble. Although Carolina recovered the ball, they lost 14 yards, creating a deficit they couldn't recover from. This led to the Panthers' first punt of the day after both teams had exchanged 4 straight field goals, plus the Chiefs' touchdown. The Chiefs took advantage of the Panthers' punt. Mahomes connected with DeAndre Hopkins and Justin Watson for first downs. Pacheco then ran for another first down, followed by Noah Gray making a catch. However, things took a turn when Juan Morris got beaten, leading to another sack for Mahomes. But then, and some magic happened on 3rd and 13. Mahomes scrambled, taking a hit but fully extending himself to gain the first down. Pacheco broke a tackle on a quick catch and run for another first down, and Mecole Hardman did the same shortly after. Once again, the Chiefs found themselves facing another third down in the red zone, and I was thinking, please, not another field goal. Mahomes, always aware, noticed the Panthers were bringing pressure before the snap and alerted his receivers. Noah Gray seized the opportunity, catching a beautifully placed pass from Mahomes. Here's something pretty cool. Noah Gray had never scored 2 touchdowns in a game until last week against Buffalo, and he did it again in this game. That's back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns, bringing his total to 4 for the season. He's now tied for the most receiving touchdowns on the team with Xavier Worthy. I'm really glad the Chiefs extended Gray's contract earlier this season. He's going to be a key player for years to come. After that touchdown, the Chiefs were up 20-6 with under a minute left in the half. But of course, Bryce Young wasn't done yet. He lofted a 28-yard pass to Jatavian Sanders, with Najee Johnson close in coverage. On the very next play, Young connected for another big gain of 21 yards, with Chamari Connor making the tackle. Then Sanders helped move the chains again, bringing Carolina inside the 10-yard line. Honestly, it was a bit concerning to see the defense allow the Panthers to march down the field so quickly, under a minute to go, and they were already in the red zone. I'll touch more on that later, but what was even more worrying was that Jatavian Sanders, who caught that pass, took a hard hit and injured his neck. He had to be carted off the field and was taken to a local hospital. Thankfully, he was eventually released and reportedly has movement in all his extremities, which is a relief. That was about the best news we could hope for after such a scary hit, especially with Sanders bouncing off his head like that. After the injury, the Chiefs' defense held strong in the red zone, forcing the Panthers to kick a field goal after 3 straight incompletions. This brought the score to 20-9 at halftime. Second half, the Panthers got the ball to start the third quarter and immediately went to work, carving up the Chiefs' defense like a Thanksgiving turkey. They put together an impressive 8.5-minute, 15 play drive that covered 70 yards. David Moore was heavily involved, catching a 12-yard pass despite being tightly covered by Trent McDuffie. Legette followed with a catch, and Hubbard had his longest run of the day for 13 yards. At this point, I was shaking my head, realizing that the Chiefs' defense might have some serious issues. The same strategy that worked for Josh Allen, targeting receivers not covered by McDuffie, was paying off again. To be fair, McDuffie struggled at times, but we also have to credit Bryce Young for making some good throws. This was statistically one of the worst defenses in the league, yet they were slicing through the Chiefs' defense almost effortlessly. Najee Johnson made a nice tackle to prevent Hubbard from breaking free on an outside run, but the Panthers still managed to convert on 4th and 1. Despite a pass breakup by McDuffie on 1st and goal, Carolina targeted him again on the next play, and David Moore caught the touchdown pass. This brought the Panthers within 5 points, and they opted to go for 2 to make it a 3-point game. Justin Reed made a huge hit on Adam Thielen, which resulted in an incompletion, but he was flagged for unnecessary roughness. This allowed Carolina to kick an extra point, making it a 4-point game. Many disagreed with the flag, but Reed's helmet did brush against Thielen, so I guess it was technically justifiable. Midway through the third quarter, the Chiefs were only up by 4, but Mahomes connected with Worthy for a 19-yard gain. On 3rd and 5, Mahomes used his legs again, scrambling for a first down, but came up just shy. On 4th and 1, the reliable Kareem Hunt carried the ball for 13 yards. However, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on that play moved them even closer to the goal line. On 2nd and goal, Mahomes danced around in the pocket and fired a bullet to a wide-open DeAndre Hopkins for the touchdown. This marked Hopkins' 3rd touchdown of the season with the Chiefs, and he's only played in 5 games. While he didn't have a huge game statistically, catching 5 passes on 6 targets for 35 yards, 4 of those catches were for first downs, including the touchdown. His value and usage should only increase as the season progresses, especially heading into the playoffs. After that, Hubbard converted a 3rd and 2 on the ground, but on the next 3rd down, Spagnuolo sent the house. Even though Young got hit as he threw, he connected with David Moore for another 17-yard gain, with Cook in coverage. This was yet another third and long conversion, a trend we saw carry over from last week's game against the Bills. However, Mike Dana was flagged for a personal foul, which moved the Panthers into the red zone again. Thankfully, the defense held them to a field goal, and Panero kicked his fourth of the day, making it 27-19, with the Panthers trailing by 8. The Chiefs' offense, which had scored on their first 4 drives, suddenly stalled. They punted for the first time all game in what was honestly an embarrassing series. It started off well, with Hunt running for 12 yards, and they converted a tough 3rd and 1 to bring them to midfield. But then, disaster struck. Jawan Taylor was flagged for back-to-back penalties, first for holding, then for illegal hands to the face. On 3rd and 22, a blitz from J.C. Horn came off the edge untouched. I'm not sure if Juju was supposed to help there or what happened, but Mahomes was sacked again, this time for a loss of 12 yards, setting up a 4th and 34. Arisa then punted for the first time of the game. With just 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Bryce Young managed to scramble for 11 yards to kick off the drive. However, the Chiefs' defense held strong, forcing a 3rd and 7 situation, where pressure made Young scramble to his right. With tight coverage around him, he had no choice but to throw the ball away, leading to a punt. At this point, I was feeling pretty confident. The Chiefs were up by 8 with just 4.5 minutes to go, and were about to get the ball back. After a 4-yard run by Kareem Hunt, the Chiefs surprisingly called a pass play. Mahomes rolled out to the left, but nobody was open, so he decided to slide down to keep the clock running. Unfortunately, he lost 6 yards in the process, which forced the Panthers to use a timeout. Then came a tough 3rd and 12. Mahomes got beat on the edge, forcing him to step up in the pocket. Unfortunately, the other side of the line broke down as well. Trey Smith fell, and the pocket collapsed around Mahomes, leading to yet another sack and a 3 and out. Carolina burned 2 timeouts, leaving them with 1 remaining plus the 2-minute warning. And with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, a special teams penalty on the Chiefs put the Panthers at midfield. Fortunately, Liette couldn't haul in a pass down the left side, but it didn't matter. He caught a quick pass on 3rd down, setting up a 4th and 3. The Panthers, down by 8, obviously had to go for it. Spagnuolo sent the house again, and Adam Thielen beat Shamari Connor one-on-one on an out route to move the chains. On the very next play, Young took a shot, scrambling to the right and throwing into the end zone. Connor didn't turn his head, which drew a flag for pass interference, moving the Panthers all the way to the 1-yard line. Chuba Hubbard then pounded the ball in for an easy 1-yard score. This meant the Panthers only needed a 2-point conversion to tie the game after being down 16-27. On the 2-point attempt, Trent McDuffie was flagged for pass interference. Young underthrew the pass while being pressured by Carl Lawson and Turk Wharton, causing his intended receiver, David Moore, to come back for the ball. As a result, McDuffie was flagged, leading to a retry from the 1-yard line. Hubbard then made a nice cut to the left and plowed his way in for the conversion. Chris Jones tried to stop him, but couldn't do it alone, resulting in a 27-all tie with just under 2 minutes left. The problem was that with that amount of time left, plus the Chiefs having all 3 timeouts, it was basically an eternity for Mahomes and his offense. Kelsey caught a pass for 8 yards, and then Mahomes took a shot downfield to Worthy, but it was underthrown, and no flag was thrown for pass interference. This set up a 3rd and 2, but DeAndre Hopkins caught a laser on the right side to move the chains. On the very next play, Mahomes did what he does best. He used his legs, scrambling up the left side for 33 yards and bringing the ball all the way to the 21-yard line. Shout out to Justin Watson on this play, as he made not 1 but 2 blocks to help Mahomes gain those extra yards. Kareem Hunt then caught a quick pass, advancing to the 13-yard line, which allowed Kansas City to call a timeout with 2 minutes left in the game. Finally, newly acquired Spencer Schreier knocked in a 31-yard game-winning field goal, giving the Chiefs a 30-27 victory. This win improved their record to 10-1, while the Panthers fell to 3-8. However, there wasn't much joy in the victory. It was a close win against a team the Chiefs were favored to beat by 11 points. Now it's time to talk about the concerns and takeaways from this game: the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's definitely a lot to discuss after this game. One of the biggest concerns is that the Chiefs' defense allowed an offense that was averaging just 16 points per game to score 27 on them. While the run defense was solid, ranking among the best in the NFL and holding Chuba Hubbard to just 3.6 yards per carry, despite him averaging 5.1 on the season, the pass defense really struggled. Brian Cook allowed 2 catches for 32 yards, while Justin Reed gave up 4 catches on 4 targets for a whopping 86 yards. Jamari Conner also surrendered 4 catches on 4 targets for 45 yards. McDuffie, usually reliable, allowed 4 catches on 5 targets for 31 yards, including a touchdown. And he had a couple of flags thrown his way, including one during the 2-point conversion. Nazeeh Johnson was targeted the most, allowing 3 catches on 8 targets for 41 yards, although a few of those targets were dropped, which was fortunate. It's clear that opposing teams are focusing on players other than McDuffie, which isn't helping the situation. The defensive line is also struggling to get to the quarterback. Chris Jones is still dominant, boasting a pressure win percentage of 22.9 and recording 5 pressures despite facing double teams. Turk Wharton followed with an 11.5% pressure win percentage and 4 pressures, the same as George Karlaftis, who also had 4 pressures. Despite this, Bryce Young was only sacked twice and had plenty of time on several key plays to go through his reads. When the defense did send blitzes, Young found favorable one-on-one matchups, throwing for the second most yards of his young NFL career. Receivers David Moore, Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, and Jatavian Sanders, who only played one half, all had 49 yards or more, which raises some eyebrows. I hope that Joshua Williams, the newly acquired player who's been with the team for about a month, can be worked in more effectively. The anticipated return of Charles Omenihu should also provide a boost to the defensive line. Omenihu is reportedly expected back for the game against the Raiders on Friday, and having a more effective defensive line should help the secondary. It's no secret that the team misses Jalen Watson, as various metrics show how much the Chiefs' defense has struggled since he was placed on IR. He's out for the season with a broken ankle, and for reasons unknown to me, Joshua Williams seems to have fallen out of favor. Nazeeh Johnson is clearly the next man up. Nate Taylor from The Athletic indicated that the Chiefs are prioritizing giving Johnson as much experience as possible before the playoffs. However, he's been targeted a lot in recent weeks. It's worth noting that Johnson has only had 4 starts in his entire career. He was primarily a special teamer in his rookie year and suffered an ACL injury in training camp last year. Heading into Week 13 of the NFL season, this upcoming game will only be his 5th start. There will definitely be growing pains, and the team will have to work through them. Some fans are calling for the Chiefs to bring in a free agent, which I can't completely rule out, especially since they just added an offensive tackle. Xavier Howard is still available, but his off-field issues from earlier this year give me pause. As of now, it's unclear if the Chiefs will make any moves, but they seem set to roll with the players they have. I just hope that the combination of defensive backs, Justin Reed, Brian Cook, Jamari Conner, Nazeeh Johnson, and even McDuffie, can bounce back after this off day. It's also worth noting that the Panthers were fresh off a bye, which may have played a role in their performance, while the Chiefs were not. The Chiefs did have back-to-back road games, first in Buffalo and then in Carolina. Another concern that stands out is definitely the offensive line. Both tackles had a rough outing. While Wiley has been decent and Jawan Taylor has shown promise when he's not getting flagged, this game was tough for both players. They weren't even facing an elite defensive line, so that makes it even more concerning. Jawan Taylor gave up 5 pressures and was flagged twice, while Wiley allowed 4 pressures and was flagged once. This contributed to Mahomes being sacked 5 times, bringing his total to 15 sacks over the last 4 games. I'd be much more worried about the offensive line if the Chiefs hadn't just signed free agent offensive tackle DJ Humphries, which was made official today. He passed his physical, so that's exciting news. However, it will likely take him a few weeks to get fully ramped up. Outside of that, I thought the Chiefs' offense performed quite well. Mahomes completed 27 of 37 passes for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt had a solid game, rushing 16 times for 68 yards, averaging 4.3 yards per carry, and adding 3 catches for 19 yards. What a day for Hunt. He's proving to be a fantastic free agent signing, and I'm excited to see him and Pico on the field together soon. Noah Gray led the receiving corps, catching 4 passes for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's back-to-back weeks with 2 scores for him. Quite impressive. Travis Kelce added 6 catches for 62 yards. We already mentioned DeAndre Hopkins, who had 5 catches, with 4 of them going for first downs and 1 being a touchdown. Very valuable contributions. Worthy also had a nice day, catching 4 passes for 46 yards, even though he wasn't targeted on many deep throws. The offense was 8 for 13 on third downs, which is a conversion rate of nearly 77%. That's phenomenal. However, there's room for improvement in the red zone. The Chiefs were just 2 of 5 inside the 20. A tip of the cap goes to the Chiefs' defense, which, despite allowing 30 points to the Panthers, held them to just 2 of 6 in the red zone. Both teams were heavily penalized, so cleaning up those mistakes would be beneficial. While the Panthers didn't have an elite defense, I'm happy to see the Chiefs put up 30 points. It looked really good, and they can carry that momentum into Friday's game against the Raiders. Speaking of great news, Andy Reid has now led the Chiefs to their 10th straight season with at least 10 wins. That's incredible, and shows just how special times are in Kansas City right now. So let's enjoy every win, because an ugly victory is definitely better than a pretty loss. Shout out to Spencer Schreier as well, the newly signed kicker who scored 12 points on the day. He hit all 3 field goals and 3 extra points. You can't ask for much more than that. Yes, there are concerns about the close win, but let's enjoy it and also take time to appreciate Thanksgiving with our families before the Chiefs take on the Raiders on Black Friday. The parity in the league is crazy. Just this week, we saw the Steelers lose to the Browns, the Texans upset by the Titans, the Commanders fall to the Cowboys with their backup quarterback, and the Vikings barely squeak by the Bears in overtime. Close games and upsets happen all the time. However, the Chiefs got it done once again, with Mahomes stepping up to secure another win when it mattered most, proving why he's one of the best to ever play the game. Speaking of Mahomes, after throwing 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in his first 6 games, he has turned it around, throwing 12 touchdowns to just 3 interceptions in the last 5 games. It's safe to say that the team, especially the offense, is trending in the right direction. This momentum will be crucial if the defense continues to struggle. On a positive note, Pico and Omenihu are expected to play this Friday, and Butker should be back in a few weeks. Plus, Hollywood Brown is anticipated to return before January. Overall, things are looking pretty good for the back-to-back Super Bowl champions. With all that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Chiefs' performance in this nail-biting game. What were your biggest takeaways and concerns? Share your insights in the comments below. Until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those Chiefs?